Hi, welcome to the channel. This is Bullseye6, and today we're going to talk about top 10 Bryan Fury moves. Tekken 8 is pretty close, so I just wanted to go through a few of the characters that I really play a lot, and just talk about their top 10 moves. And it was really interesting because I was thinking about top 10 moves of Bryan because he has so many good moves. So it was a very interesting list to make. But yeah, feel free to comment, and if you think there's any move missing, or if you want to talk about any positioning of the move in the list, I'm always happy to have a gander at the comment section. So the number 10 move is forward 2. 442, it's an amazing move. It's a high, but it's only 13 frames. It's a very fast power crush, so it hits you even if it's very hard for other moves to absorb your power crush and not get hit by it. Most of the moves are going to get hit by it unless they are high crushing. But the main thing is it just offers so much utility for Bryan with whiff punishment as well, because it's so long range, and there are certain moves like Pause That Fist or Hihachi 442 that can only be punished by this move. So it also brings a lot of utility to Bryan Fury as well, and as well in some confirms like back 4, or there are other confirms as well with 442, like you do magic 4, and some people sometimes when you in a hurry you just want to get some damage, so 442 is a very good option there as well. So just a very good high utility move. It's a power crush as well, good range, and it can be sometimes be spammable as well if your opponent isn't good at reading your patterns, and if you don't telegraph it. It's a really good move. On number 9 we'll go to down 4. It's a very fast load. It's only 15 frames, and the good thing about it is the range, and the fact that your opponent can only hit you with a while standing forward because it's -11. And if you do a tip range, most while standing forwards won't reach from this range. If you can see, like after you block him, this is almost going to be the range. So most while standing forwards are not going to reach him at tip range. They would have to either really commit on the low parries, and that's where his other mid game comes in. And also he can set up a lot of things with it, just because it's such a hit and run tactic move as well. So you can backdash out of most retaliations, step them, or if you're hesitant in pressing because of these things of him backdashing or stepping, you can pile on the pressure as well. So it's such a great move, and also really good in matchups where characters have a good while standing 13 punish. That's where this move becomes vital for a Bryan player. And now that I've done that move, 444, that is number 8 on my list. It's just a really good speed. Like it's decently fast at 16 frames, even though it's a 4/4 input, so it can sometimes come out a little bit slower. But that's offset by the fact that it has an inbuilt sidestep left, so it can sometimes sidestep a move, like especially a string, first hit of the move, and then it will counter hit the second hit of the string. It's such a lethal move, and it's very high damaging as well. Like simple combos do so many damage with this move. Like this is, I'm not even thinking about a hard combo right now. This is just easy and female oriented combo, and it still does over 80 damage without the wall, by the way. So it's high damaging as well. And it's a good space control for him because most of his fast pokes are linear. So fast pokes and some other pressure tools are linear or vulnerable to sidewalks. So that's where 1+2 and 444 come in. And this is the number 7 move on the list. The good thing about this move is that it's a 16 frame mid, and though it doesn't seem like it does too much, but it's basically shines at the wall, especially because what happens at the wall is that you can get a free jet upper off of it, because if you can see, it's +15 and on normal hit as well. So when it hits, you get a jet upper at the wall. It's just so good, especially at the wall. But obviously, if you can taunt back forward, that's like most Bryan players and their main strategy. That's their go-to move. So I'd put this at number 7. The only reason it's not a bit higher because it's mostly used off of a taunt, and taunt can sometimes be hard to set up, especially if your opponent is good at avoiding taunt setups as well, and calling out your timing. So but it's still good enough to make it into the top 10. It's an amazing move. On number 6 we will go quarter circle back 2-4. You could say back 4 and quarter circle back 2-4, they can be interchangeable in this list almost, but I'll go with this as number 6. Its range is impeccable, as you can see, but the main thing about this is you can hit confirm it almost 100%. Almost, I say almost is because online especially and during nerves it can be hard to confirm it, so it's mostly used as a twitch confirm. Like when you see your opponent like move or twitch while starting a move and you've initiated this, it becomes easier to confirm this move. And it's a 60 damage move anywhere, because you get, even if it's near the wall, it's going to give you a free soccer kick. So it's so good with damage output as well, and you don't even need a lot of wall carry with it. Like you can be near the wall, instead of doing like a launcher which does 50-55 damage near the wall because you don't have enough wall carry. This becomes a really good whiff punishment option, and because it's safe to throw out, because this is I know it's a quarter circle input, but it's still, the move itself is pretty fast, and it's almost hit confirmable 100%. And we go on to number 5. Number 5 is back 1. If you're a Bryan player, this is the, or if you fight against Bryan, this is the one move that you will see a lot of Bryan player pressuring you with. Its only weakness is that it's a bit linear, so a Bryan player would have to use their movement to realign with your stepping most of the time. So that's one weakness that this move has. Otherwise it has some high built-in evasion as well at the start, so jabs, it can go under certain short range jabs as well. And of course the damage is so high with this, like the damage is absurd. That's not become a matter of pride. Yeah. So what happens is it's really high damage, and with the wall and even without rage, you can get almost close to 100 damage, which is insane for a plus frame counter hit launcher. It's a little. Its only weakness is a bit slow, and also it's a bit linear. But it complements his pressure game really well, and sets up some of his counter hits as well, like Magic Ball. Okay, then we move on to his next move, which is forward 3 on the list, and it's number 4 on the list. The only issue with this move sometimes is its range. The range can sometimes be an issue, but the good thing about it is it's a 16 frame mid that's neutral on block and counter hit launcher. Usually 15 or 16 frame mid counter hit launchers are anywhere from either unsafe, or if they're safe, they're very minus, and you usually lose your turn on these type of moves. But not this. You still retain your turn. You can step. You can pressure. You can do everything you want to do with this move, and it can sometimes even be plus, as you can see, plus on block as well if it's a bit if it's done a bit further away. Great move, great kind of counter hit launcher, really important to his game, and has some tracking as well. So if opponents like to sidestep button, this move is really good for those players, the players that like to sidestep button. This catches them a lot. Number 3. Now for a lot of people, this might actually be his best move, and there's certainly an argument for that, but it's number 3 on my list. 3+4. It's an 18 frame mid, and though it looks -13, but the pushback is so that only you can count the number of characters that can punish on your one hand and still be left with fingers. So it's a really good move. Because it creates so much pushback, even though it's -13, most characters can't press a button and reach Bryan from there. So they have to dash in and press, and that's where they lose their frames, and that's where another 3+4 can even counter hit launch them, even though you were -13. So it's like sometimes it can become a bit spammable as well. But that's where its main weakness comes in, which is sidestepping. It's fairly linear. It does have some tracking towards Bryan's right, but it's really easy to sidestep it to the right. It can even be stepped to the left, but it's much easier to step it to the right. And then, like, if a Bryan player is spamming this, it's good, but it's still pretty punishable on block. Like, see how gingerly he gets his leg down. So you have ample time to like, if you step, you have ample time to do your biggest launch punisher there. On the top 2 in my list, I was actually confused on this. Honestly, there are days when I feel like one move is the best move, and there are other days when I feel like, nah, this one is the best. But the number 2 on the list is the down forward 1-1 string. Just the sheer amount of mind games that you can create with this is bizarre and wonderful, and so Bryan, because that's what he's all about. Mind games and timing changes and counter hits and even confirms. You can talk about it. So that's the beauty of this move, is like you can slow it down to a heartbeat and still get a confirm out of it, like even slower than a heartbeat at times. So it's so good. Like, there are players like some pro players like Bilal that can slow it down to like the slowest possible and still get a confirm out of it. It's beautiful. But then you can go fast as well to change up timing. You can go 1, you can go 2, 3, 4. You can even finish it if you're ballsy enough that you think your opponent is going to retaliate for a punish, because the moves. There's such a beautiful design that every single one after the first one is punishable. The first one is -5, but the next ones are -10, -10, -10. And if you finish it with the right punch, it's basically the right hook. It's launch punishable. But that's where the beauty lies, because it's mind game commitments on Bryan Fury's player's part as well. And then that's where you're daring your opponent, press, take your punish, and that's where you complete the string and confirm it. It's such a beautiful move, and it has so many mind games. It's such a good move off of sidestep confirms as well. Like, if you want to sidestep and throw out a move that's not big commitment and get good chunky damage out of it with a confirm. A 15 frame move that's practically safe. If you think about it, you are confirming this and getting this much damage out of it. It's awesome. Just the mind games as well, so good. The only thing about it, the only reason I didn't put it at my number 1 is because it doesn't have the best of frames on hit. A lot of players think, oh, Bryan just hit me with this, and they sometimes try to respect Bryan players. You don't have to. He's only +1, and most Bryan players will take more than they're allowed, and they're gonna press magic 4 or down forward 2 or back 1 even. Like, they're gonna go for their counter hits or pressure. You can interrupt him sometimes, and good players know that. But still, he can step, he can do all sort of things. But because he's not that plus, move loses that slight bit towards the number 1 in our list, which is hatchet kick. I think everybody saw this coming, but it still needs to be said. This move is borderline. It is overtuned, and almost every Bryan player wishes that this move gets a bit of a nerf, because that kind of tarnishes a Bryan player's efforts as well. Because now because of this move, it seems like he has a legitimate 50-50, which you needed to struggle with Bryan to actually mix your opponent up, because he didn't have a traditional 50-50 of knocking down your opponent. But even if it doesn't knock down a normal hit, the damage alone is so much that you can go, yeah, it doesn't knock down, but 25 damage for a low. That's absurd. And then it's not just the damage; it's just the pressure. It's +5 on hit, so you can just pile on hatchet after hatchet after hatchet. And of course, on counter hit, as you can show, you can get a mini combo on it as well. That can even set up a taunt. But if you just hit +5 is so much that no character except Lily can step his jab. So you can really easily just jab check opponents if they're trying to step you, and of course you have forward for if they're trying to like get out of your pressure by stepping instead of retaliating, because retaliating can be really scary because of down forward 2-3 being natural hit on counter hit, and then you have other things as well, like if people just don't want to retaliate against this move. It's that good. Like if they do anything that's faster than a 10 frame, they can even get hit by a forward 3 or a back 4, or just get pressured to death basically. So it's a really hard move to just deal against. So that's the number one honorable mention. Jet upper, I would say, because it's such a key move for him in terms of launching the opponent with your tone jet upper as well. It's really hard, but it's very good. The only reason I didn't put it in my top 10 was because it is a high, and also it is a difficult input, so like doing this in the neutral can sometimes be a bit awkward, but it does have some really good tracking towards as well. So if your opponent likes to sidewalk left the hatchet, because hatchet is sidewalk left, so if they like to sidewalk left after eating hatchet, this can sometimes actually launch them. So this is a very good move, and just tone jet upper as a punisher, 14 frame, really good block punisher basically. Another move that he has is an honorable mention. I believe it's his best with Punisher. If you react fast enough, it's really long range. It has a very easy combo. It's the easiest knee pickup for any combo that he has, and really good damage. Look at that, 78 damage, and with wall it can go up to 100. Full Crush 4, it almost made the top 10, sorry, but there are some other moves like my one thing was should I include this or this, but I opted for 442 because it has a bit more utility. But make no mistake, this is like one of those really weird broken move, but not really, because he basically fully high crushes during this, but it's a bit of an awkward move to do really fast if you want to do it instantly, because you have to do as you see the input, like a very fast quarter circle, then down back, and then another down forward. So it's a very awkward move to do instantly. But sometimes, like if you feel like your opponent would like to approach with highs, then this move can be so good. And it's a counter hit launcher. It's a full high crusher counter hit launcher. The only reason why it didn't make it into my top 10 is because it can be a bit of a hard input to do, and also it's -10 on top of it. So some characters with good 10 frame punishers, you might not want to throw it out too much. Then we go 1+2. This one, another one, a lot you can sometimes argue top 10, because that's his main, what's it called, space control move, because he moves forward as well, and keeps the lockdown pressure going. And even though it's -7, there is a threat of a follow-up, and there are 2 follow-ups now, so you can't even be like, oh, there's just one follow-up, I'll block and punish it. So there can be like a high, so sometimes there's a mix-up on the follow-up as well. Down forward 2-3. See how delayed that was? That's the main reason why it's making it into honorable mentions, even though it's -13, because the second hit is a counter hit launcher, and also you can basically sometimes, like good players, they'll see somebody press a button, they can twitch confirm the down forward 2-3 to get like because remember, this is natural on counter hit. So if they see somebody press a button, they can legit hit confirm that and get a knockdown, which can lead to either a taunt setup, or if they don't roll, they can get floated by a down back too. So it's a really good move. It is punishable, but just because it's delayable and almost hit confirmable on the counter hit, and also like as a mix-up, it can be used with down forward 2-1 as well. So yeah, I'll put this in an honorable mention. Next one is sidestep 1, just because it can sometimes be if you just randomly throw this move out, it's so good. And by the way, it doesn't need to be a counter hit to launch. That's the absurd part. It's a big crumple stun launch, and you get a big ass combo as well if you do a sidestep. If you do a sidestep right, then you get a big ass combo as well. it's a female sometimes these drop, but it's a very good move. It's not too high up for commitment, and it's pretty fast. It comes out really fast, and it's only -5, so you don't completely lose your turn either. And obviously the built-in evasion because of the sidestep can't be understated as well. So it's a really good move, and considering it's a normal hit launcher, that's absurd. Finally we go, because this is one of those moves, because it hits grounded, that's its main strength. Because a lot of the times, the reason why this move is so good is a lot of the times your opponents, they would try to avoid the taunt mix-up, and if they're trying to avoid the taunt mix-up, what they need to do is they need to stay down, and that's where this move becomes so obnoxious. It's a flip over Oki as well, so good. It's just amazing, just an amazing move if people are trying to avoid your taunt. And also sometimes on tech roll, a lot of the time people will go for a hatchet read, because hatchet is really good on tech roll, and it can start pressure off of knockdown. That's where you can, if you have like, you have a hard read that they're gonna duck quarters at the back 4, and it's a big ass launcher as well. So yeah, there you go. These are the moves for Bryan Fury, top 10 moves and the honorable mention. I hope you liked the video. Please, if you did end up watching till the end, have a great day and a happy new year, and please like and subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.